coming up
Where
on
do we
today's
use
episode?
the restroom? I think people want to know. You guys want to know?
This is the You Ask, the Pros Answer podcast. Do you have questions about an upcoming exterior contracting project? We've got answers. Welcome to the You Ask, the Pros Answer podcast. All right, welcome to the You Ask, the Pros Answer podcast. Your questions answered by the pros you trust. Welcome to another episode. Last week we had a lot of fun talking about what makes a reliable contractor, how to find a reliable contractor. And if you remember, if you happened to watch or listen last week, toward the end of our conversation, Aaron and I talked about the importance of having a project coordinator as part of your project. If you have not watched or listened to last week's episode, I encourage you to go back and follow that. We have timestamps on YouTube, so you can go ahead and click and you can listen to specific parts that you might be interested in. But this week, I am excited because we actually have a special guest with us. We have Pro Exterior's very own project coordinator, Josh King. Josh and Aaron recently took a road trip for work and decided to roll a camera while they were heading down south. And so this episode is simply you getting a view into their conversation. Josh gets a chance to share a little bit about the role that he performs on the team, how it plays into the overall project. And they just have a conversation about some of the challenges, some of the realities of working in our industry. I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. So without further ado, let's join Aaron and Josh as they discuss the importance of having a project coordinator.
Okay, Josh, so you've been with the company for 3 years. What is your official job title?
Project manager.
Okay, so project manager seems pretty cut and dry. You manage projects.
Roughly.
Okay, so I'm probably dumbing it down a little bit, but well, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Everything. I manage crews.
Okay.
Communicate with crews. Manage projects. Check in on projects. Make sure things are being done properly.
Okay, so you're talking about, making sure crews show up, making sure materials show up, dumpsters show up, just basically making sure everything and everybody is where it's supposed to be.
Yep.
On every job site.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yep.
Okay. You're probably dealing with homeowners.
Yeah, often.
Okay. So you're dealing with clients and trying to, relay proper information to them, make sure that, their wishes are being, done properly.
Yep.
Yeah, and then, so you said install properly.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that's a big part of, kind of our name, the pros, the Pro Exteriors. We are the pros. So obviously as pros, we do have the expectation that things are going to be installed properly. And I'm sure when a client hires us, they also would like everything to be installed properly.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what happens if you're on a job site and you see something being done either not to our standard or maybe not to manufacturer specs?
Well, I have to communicate that to the crew or crews that are doing the installation.
Okay.
And make sure that gets remedied as soon as possible.
Okay.
And that it's an acceptable remedy to our standards or to installation specifications, and that everything gets back to copacetic as it should be.
So even if that means ripping out work that's already complete, you're going to, it doesn't really matter how much has been done. If it's not done right, It's got to go.
Yeah, we have to do it right.
On every job.
Every job.
Every day.
All the time.
All the time. Well, not all the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to put a percent on it.
But, we put a lot of emphasis on training and, having the installation manuals on every job site, whether it's for one of our subcontracting crews or whether it's for one of our in-house carpenters. We put a lot of emphasis on, doing hands-on training, doing book training, maintaining certifications for the products that we install. But we're still all human. At the end of the day, not every site is the same as the site you did before, and we're all human. We make mistakes. There's times where something may get installed, not quite up to par. But like you said, our job is to find that, to communicate properly with the guys on site, to basically say like that's not right. We want it replaced. We want it fixed, remedied, whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to make one person happy, and that's the homeowner.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And they're going to be happy if everything is done properly and as it should be.
Okay. So let's take it one step further. So we talked about, if something is installed improperly, we know how to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the first time we've dealt with it. We've got a system in place, checks and balances, all that good stuff. Let's say the worst thing happens. Now, when I say worst, it's different for everybody. But let's say that we get there at 7 o'clock in the morning. The homeowner is pulling out of their driveway to go to work for the day. We do what we do best. We throw that roof on in one day. It's 5 o'clock. We're cleaning up. Everybody's got a smile on our face. We're all waiting for the homeowner to pull back in the yard to just basically see a brand new roof and a transformation of the exterior of their house. And they pull up. They have a big frown on their face, and it's not exactly what we're expecting. We put the wrong color on the roof.
Mm.
What do we do?
Well, we first we start with the homeowner and communication with them, and is that the color they picked? Should we, do you want to do a different color now? Is this a make or break situation? Is it something that you feel needs to be done for them to be 100% happy with our work? Was it our error, their error? That's kind of back of the line question there, but what can we do to make it right? If the homeowner says they want the color they picked and we messed up, then we need to start, churning and burning and getting the correct materials there for them as soon as possible to make the homeowner happy.
Yeah. If ultimately that's not what they wanted, then it's our job to give them what they paid for, what they wanted.
Absolutely.
So this is year 20 in business. I can count how many times that's happened in my years in business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fortunate that I can count them on one hand.
Right.
In your 3 years, have you experienced that yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the result? What did we end up doing? Did we end up taking the roof off, or were we able to come to some sort of agreement with the homeowner in order to?
The homeowner, in this one case that I'm referring to, the homeowner was adamant that they wanted a specific color that we were not currently installing at the time when it was brought to our attention. So we stopped, took off the colored shingle that they had on there, and immediately started getting it in the works to get the correct color to the home so we could continue installing the next day.
Okay. So we were fortunate in that particular case. We weren't done the roof when the color issue was brought to our attention.
Right.
Very
fortunate.
Very, very fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, we do deal with a lot of second homes. We do deal with a lot of vacation homes or investment properties. And, it's not uncommon for our homeowners not to be there during the project.
No.
So, I can remember one specific instance of a house in the Selbyville, Fenwick area. It was a 3-story rancher, not a ginormous roof, but a very steep and tall roof. And I remember specifically that roof was supposed to be Patriot Red.
Mm.
And we did not install Patriot Red.
Mm.
Okay. We installed Hickory, which is kind of a brownish, copperish, orangey kind of, you mix those 3 colors together, that's what you get.
Yeah.
In this particular case, the homeowner was very adamant about having the Patriot Red. The mistake happened, a very small communication. He had originally selected Hickory, and then he had come back after the fact and texted somebody within the company and basically said, we had changed our mind, we want to penetrate red. That little communication got missed. That information was not written down. And unfortunately, we installed the wrong color roof. So, in that particular case, we did not have to tear the roof off. We were fortunate. It wasn't the color that he wanted, but ultimately he was satisfied with the color. And he essentially said, take a couple of grand off and we'll call it even. And that's what we did.
It's true.
So, okay. So that's one thing that can happen. What happens in the course of a roof being removed? Say an average roof is about 30 square. 30 square is, about 6,000 to 7,000 pounds worth of material that all has to come off the roof. So what are the type of hazards that we deal with in the process of doing a roof removal?
Well, there's a lot of hazards depending on how tall of a roof we're talking about. If it's a single story, you still have to worry about your windows and siding and bushes, trees, shrubbery, grass, all the way around. If it's a two-story, you start to have to worry about, that's a lot further of a drop if you're going to use tarps. In our case, we use an equipter for every part of a job that we can, which prevents a lot of falling debris that could injure anybody walking by, could injure plants and bushes and sidewalks and pavers and driveways. So it helps prevent a lot of damage like that.
So for those of you who don't know what an equipter is, it's essentially a small dump trailer that has three tires, and a little gas motor on it. It also has the ability to not only lift straight up, but also extend out. So we're basically able to kind of wheel this dump trailer around the property and extend it right up to the roof line. Sometimes we get to extend it up to the roof line and also out over flower beds or other obstructions. And that allows us to kind of take a little bit better care of a property. It allows us to reduce the fall of all of that debris instead of falling, down onto tarps or being thrown off the roof in any sort of capacity. It allows it to go directly into the dumpster, and then we're able to dump that into either the larger dumpster or the larger dump trailer. But yeah, so that saves a lot. So you said what? So, it saves siding, it can save the landscaping, it saves, nails. The average roof has, over 12,000 nails. So, all of that stuff is coming off the roof. This is not a scientific process. This is a very, hard, dirty job that unfortunately, the equipter is like one piece of technology that has really revolutionized the industry. Outside of that, there's not a lot of technology that goes into this. Every year or two, somebody comes out with the latest, greatest version of a tarp, essentially. Those tarps, it's mixed reviews. Some of them cost, a little bit of money, and some of them cost thousands of dollars. A lot of times, we'll purchase those products and we'll try them to see if it works for the way that we do business. Like you said, anything that we can do to kind of protect the homeowner's property, that's ultimately what we're looking for.
Absolutely.
Okay, so debris coming off, we use the equipter. We're trying not to rip screens. We're trying not to break siding. We're trying not to crush plants.
Damage the little lights that they have all in the gardens.
Landscape lights, garden gnomes, paver borders, sod.
Yeah.
Irrigation heads.
Oh, yeah.
Vinyl railings, HVAC systems, playgrounds, patio furniture, concrete sidewalks, driveways, you name it.
Solar panels.
Everything on the outside of that house is just waiting to get hit.
Yeah.
By something coming off that roof.
By asphalt, shingles, and plywood.
Yep. So again, this isn't science. This is brunt work. It's dirty work. Whole bunch of guys up there all trying their damnedest just to get that roof off as quick as they can so we can get it covered back in and hopefully try to do everything in one day. That's always the goal. One day is always the goal simply because we don't want that roof to be open any longer than it has to be. We live in a coastal environment. It could be sun shining, blue skies, beautiful day, little 10-minute rain shower comes in, roof's wide open. I'm not interested in paying for that.
No, big mess.
Big mess.
Yeah.
So these are the things that you're looking out for when you're on job site. You're sometimes running the equipter, sometimes you're just watching the guys run the equipter. You're looking out for First of all, things that were damaged before we got there.
Absolutely.
We always try to, document the property damage.
Yeah.
Prior to us being there, because there are times where we get blamed for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised how many times people don't notice damage to their property until we show up.
Yeah.
That was never there before.
Yeah.
So we do try to take pictures. We utilize a piece of software called Company Cam. It's an app where we all take pictures. That all goes to a cloud-based system. So all the pictures that we take for every single project go in one place. But yeah, so we want to document the damage, that was pre-existing. We want to document, any damage that does happen to happen. Most of it's minimal. Asphalt shingles, streaks on the siding, streaks on railings.
Yeah.
It hits the concrete and puts a little tar mark on there. All of these things are minimal. All these things can be taken care of.
Yep.
We for vinyl siding we use what?
To clean it?
Yeah.
It's the orange juice.
Goo Gone.
Yeah.
Goof Off.
Goof Off.
Mr. Clean Magic Erasers.
Yep. The rubber towels.
Yep.
Roll of towels. Tub of towels. That's what it's called.
Tub of towels.
Tub of towels.
But yeah, so these are the things that occur on the normal course of doing a roofing job or even a siding job.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I think most people don't take into account, when you're doing roofing and siding, is everybody expects, every piece of landscaping to be perfect when we're done. So speaking from the guy that watches it happen every day,
Mm-hmm.
is it realistic to think that your landscaping is going to be 100% the same?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna walk in your flower beds to pick up trash, to get a look at different parts of the roof. Again, there's 6-7, give or take, 1,000 pounds of debris coming off your roof. Something is going to hit a plant or a tree branch, or a little flower is going to fall off, or any of those things are more than likely going to happen. We do everything to try and prevent that. Not everything is preventable. There are issues that come up where you might lose a flower bud, might lose a couple petals off your flower and a branch off of the tree.
But in reality, 99% of the time, it's cosmetic. These things will grow back.
Absolutely.
Is it a 25-year-old Japanese maple?
I hope not.
We hope not.
Mm-hmm.
Some things have a kind of a larger sentimental value, a larger price tag put on them. If it's one of your iris bushes gets smashed, chances are it's going to come back. If it's not this season, chances are it's coming back next season.
We do move everything that is movable out of the path of destruction, for to say, just to.
Correct.
But non-movable objects are.
Right. There's things that we can do. There's things that we try to do. We'll put buckets, we'll put trash cans, we'll put plywood teepees if we have to try and protect, certain things. We talked about the equipter. Unfortunately, there are times where the equipter is just not usable in every situation. I can't drive the equipter on, your patio. I can't drive the equipter in some areas where you have landscaping that's, super long. And so unfortunately that debris does have to come off the roof. And there's only certain things that we can realistically do in order to kind of control that debris. So yeah, so a lot of weight coming off the roof. Siding, there is no machine that takes the siding off. It's still done by hand.
Yeah.
And the only way to do it by hand is to either stand on the ground right next to the house and rip it off that way, get on ladders, again, right next to the house.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got landscaping all the way around your house, we don't have a choice. We have to stand in your gardens. We have to put ladders there. Yeah, so there's a lot of situations where, we don't have a lot of control. We do our best, but, if you've got, a bunch of siding in your hand or a bunch of roofing in your hand and you're walking backwards off of a step ladder or an extension ladder, safety is our number one goal. So if somebody steps backwards off of a ladder and happens to step on a flower, I would rather them be safe and sacrifice that flower.
Absolutely.
Normal course of business, this stuff happens.
It does.
Okay. So in the process of, let's use a siding job, for instance. Most roof jobs are one day. We normally have a material delivery. We normally have either a dump trailer or a dumpster delivery. We usually have, outside of your vehicle, we usually have 1 or 2 crew vehicles. So there's a lot of moving parts. we have the opportunity to park on the street sometimes. Sometimes we have the ability to park in driveways. And then there's other times where, we may have a driveway that's a little nicer, or maybe it's brand new. The project we started yesterday, for instance, brand new asphalt driveway. So in those situations, we want to either protect the driveway, or we just avoid the driveway altogether.
Yeah.
Which does have its limitations. You're talking about driving on grass or putting materials on grass, or, certain areas we don't have the ability to use a dumpster, so we have to use dump trailers, which does, logistically a lot more coming and going.
Yeah.
So that's for a roofing job. For a siding job, roofing job's 1 day. Siding job, week and a half for an average house. 2 weeks. Nicer houses, bigger houses, could be 3 weeks.
Could be.
That's a lot of material.
Yeah.
That's a lot of moving parts. That's a lot of, 2 guys working on this wall, 2 guys working on that wall, 2 guys working over here. It's chaos. It's noisy. It's loud.
Yeah.
There could be, a lot of banging. There's a lot of things that can happen.
Yeah.
So in situations like that, our goal is to what? Our goal is to try and minimize the mess. Our goal is to try and keep, materials as organized as we can possibly keep them. We try to keep the crews, working kind of in, one main direction versus, here, there, and everywhere. Kind of have everything start here and kind of work your way around. But yeah, a lot of variables.
A lot of them.
What else can you think of on an average job site that you feel like people should know about? Where do we use the restroom? I think people want to know. You guys want to know? You ever notice that? You got 6 guys on the job site, you don't see a bathroom anywhere, and they didn't come inside all day. Where do they go?
A lot of times we'll run down to the store.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you need to get down to the store.
Hold it till lunch?
Hold it till lunch and get down to the store.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of these guys have been doing it a long time, so they, you kind of get used to your everyday routine, whatever that routine is, good or bad. But and most guys have gotten used to, working it into their daily schedule. That's when they need to hit the bathroom. That's when they'll go hit the bathroom.
Or if it's in the middle of the summer, you may not have to go.
Right.
I can remember days working 12, 14 hours and sweating just as much as I drank. I didn't have to go.
Yeah. Those are some hot days.
And, not every job, but, a lot of jobs we bring in a porta potty. We typically don't like to use the interior bathrooms unless it's an absolutely emergency.
Yeah. Try not to.
What we do is dirty. And whatever dirt's on us is coming with us. So we try not to bring that into the home unless we can absolutely help it.
Yeah.
So Josh, let me ask you this. We tear a roof off. We already said there's on average about 12,000 nails on a roof. What happens if I have my roof replaced and it's 2 weeks later and I'm walking around my yard and I see, bits of shingle. I see these little plastic wrappers that are they're all in my trees. They're in my bushes. I'm walking in my driveway right at the bottom of my gutter. There's all this dirt. What is that stuff?
Those are the granules from the roof that the loose granules will come down.
Okay.
Which is normal to see. Some of those, we do use a leaf blower at the end of the job and blow off all of the roof, all of the loose stuff that's there. But just like with nails on the ground, sometimes rain will uncover stuff that we've run a magnet over 5 times and never got until it rained. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's a handful of nails you find over the yard just from rain washing away a little bit of dirt. So you'll find some random stuff. You should never find a pile of debris and stuff all in the bushes and everything. That's something you should call us about right away, that we can come out and take care of. Somebody just must have missed something there. But it's normal to find a little thing here or there, since there is so much coming off and going on to your roof that a little piece of paper that got cut off and blew out of the trash pile that, stuck around the branch of a bush somewhere that just happened to shake loose one day. Now you see it in your flower bed, and a nail uncovers, like I said, from the rain washing away some dirt, and oh man, there's a nail there that these guys must not have run a magnet. Well, we could have run it 10 times and not picked up that one nail until after that specific rain where it was uncovered.
Yeah, that happens quite often. Again, we run the magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. High grass, magnet's not going to be 100%.
No, not at all.
We always recommend people cut their grass, the day before. The shorter the grass, the easier it is for us to find the debris as well as the nails. It's, makes it easier for the magnet to be used. We have handheld magnets. We have big 3-foot wide magnets that are on wheels.
Mm-hmm.
We use all of that stuff, but unfortunately, again, we're still human. At the end of sometimes 10, 12, 14-hour days in the middle of the summer, you're tired. You may not be at your best. It's still possible to miss some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So at 12,000 nails on the average roof, if somebody finds, let's say 20 roofing nails at the end of a roofing job over the next, say, 2 weeks, if you look at it from the idea as like, that's 20 times I could have stepped on this, and I haven't had a tetanus in 20 years, and I don't want to go back and get shots. I hate needles. But 20 nails in reality represents less than 1% of the amount of nails that came off that roof.
Yeah.
Not only the nails that came off, but the nails that we put back on. There's nails that come off during the course of, using a regular roofing nailer in the process of that as well.
Yeah.
So, if you find 20 nails, if you find 25 nails, it's literally 0.2%.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 1%.
Yeah.
1% would be 120 nails. If you find 20 nails, really not a huge issue.
No.
Okay?
No.
Again, we do our absolute best. We don't want to leave a single nail behind, but unfortunately, this isn't a scientific process. We do our best, but it's still going to happen. You're still going to find some debris. You're still going to find some nails. I don't think that's going to change anytime in the near future.
And literally you can't be perfect.
Nobody can be perfect.
It's not, you could put a dome around everything but the roof, and it's just not going to be perfect.
Yep. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for putting up with us. And we look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, that was a lot of fun. I'm so thankful for Josh and his willingness to share some of his expertise, share some of his experiences. Just as we asked last week, we want to hear from you. We want to do our best week after week to answer questions that come from you, questions that pertain to contracting, to the exterior contracting space, things that you've always wondered about the industry. We want to hear from you. You can email us at info@askproexteriors.com, and in the subject, just put "you ask," and we'll be sure to add your question to a future episode. That is all we have for today on the You Ask the Pros Answer podcast. If you are facing any kind of exterior project coming up, we hope that this episode empowered you to tackle it with confidence. Remember, knowledge is power, and a little research can go a long way. Until next time, happy homeowning. The You Ask the Pros Answer podcast is produced in-house by the Pro Exteriors team. Pro Exteriors is the exterior contracting division of Empire Construction Group, LLC. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice. For more answers to your questions, please subscribe to this channel and podcast so you'll never miss an episode. Do you have an upcoming home remodeling project? Find more answers to your questions at askproexteriors.com.